I found this interesting mould on Temu, so I had to get it, and I'm really looking forward to having a try with it. Loads of different colours, so let's go play. Hello everyone, I'm Lula and welcome to NerdGoblinart. I'm so happy to see you. Anyway, I got this mould recently, as I just said, from Temu. It's a dragon and I think an angel. So I decided to burnish in a few different colours, and I'm going to do a mixture. Starting with the deep pink for the skin of the angel. The mica powders are a little bit different, I think, to some of the chameleon powders and the pigment powders that I tend to burnish in. But, you know, we'll see. I don't tend to use them really on makes like this, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. I'm not massively concerned either that if it doesn't turn out how it is in my mind, because I can always add colour to it afterwards, and that's absolutely fine, and I'm happy with that. I decided to go for the skin colour first because it's this, you know, it's a smaller element, and it's important to remember that when you're burnishing into moulds, whatever colour is on that mould first, that's the colour that you're gonna see. You know, so for small details like arms and face, it's probably best to get those in first, and then you can, you know, deal with all the other colours. The first thing with this mould as well is it is a little bit difficult to figure out what is what basically. It's an angel holding the face of a dragon, and she looks to be wearing like a gown, and I can see that there's possibly a bare leg there, you know, so turning it over like I'm doing there, like, you know, trying to work it out, it's not that easy to see. And I think when I saw this mould on Temu, I don't believe, and not to my memory, I kind of wish I'd looked now, now that I'm talking about it. I don't recall there being a picture of the mould complete. You know what I mean? But now I'm thinking, well, maybe there could have been. And I could potentially have actually checked. Okay, so I just pulled out a gold colour to do the hair. The hair is probably the most difficult part of the mould to differentiate, because her hair, it looks like it drapes a little bit over her shoulder and it goes into the wings. So again, I'm not going to be overly concerned if it's not completely right, because again, once this, you know, once the resin is cured and we take it out, if there's any problem areas, we can fix it afterwards. But it's interesting to see how much you can actually get right in the first instance. You know, and you sit back and, you know, and every now and again you look at it and you're like, I think that's part of it as well. I think that is too. So yeah, it's all good fun really. I've also got my changing sponge there, so those cheapest chips on places like Temu. I believe I paid 99 pence for mine. They're used for makeup brushes and stuff, so it's ideal for, you know, your brushes when you're using mica powders, chameleon powders, flakes, all those things. They work really well. It's not hard to clean as well. It's coming off quite nicely, and of course, like I've just done there, bent it slightly to get the, you know, where you do end up accidentally getting mica powder where you don't want it, so it's easy enough to clean. So I'm going to do the top of the wings with fuchsia. I've freshly opened this Let's Resin mica powder today. It's a lovely looking colour. I think I used a previous bottle, I think making one of the waffle piggies perhaps, but it is a really lovely colour, and you know, when you burnish it onto the mould, it looks really, really pretty, which is nice. So I'm not doing the entirety of the angel's wing with the fuchsia. I want to do a different colour on the wings underneath. So I'm going back into the gold there, you know, looking at the mould. As you fill in more of the colours, you start thinking, is that part of the hair as well? So what I decided at this point was I don't mind about the hair, because I can just do the hair again at the end once it's demoulded. So I've decided to give the very top part of the angel wings the gold, and then the fuchsia, and then the other wings, the underwings, I'm doing in a, I believe it's a light purple, but we'll see that in a moment when I bring it to the camera. Yes, there you go. So that's what I'm going to use on the lower wings. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for your likes, comments and shares. I really appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, I really hope that you consider doing so. It really helps my channel and it helps me grow. You can hit the bell down below also, so you can be notified of any upcoming videos. I also have channel membership. You can hit join, and that is it's a bare $3.99 a month for everybody. I don't have any levels, and you get access to at least one video in advance a week. I've started doing monthly giveaways. You've got access to the Nerd Goblin albums and exclusive videos, which I started last month. You know, and we're going to build on it as we go. And if you of course also get a mention at the beginning of the video as being a member and a wonderful supporter of my channel. Everything I make, whether it is from members, super chats, coffees, it all goes back into being able to produce stuff for this channel. So thank you very much. This is where I realised that she has like a leg, there's like a full leg, and her other leg like almost like a crossover. But it's all fine. I do notice another part of the leg later on, but like I say, we can fix all of that when it comes to it. It's not a bad mould at all. I'm really pleased with it because it has a lot of supports. There's been a few molds I've had recently that I've chosen from Temu, and they've been a little bit on the flimsy side, and yeah, it's a chance you take ordering from Temu. So this one isn't a bad one at all. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I first pulled out a yellow colour for the gown of the angel, but then I decided ultimately to go for white. I noticed that there's like little embellishments on the dress as well, so I figured that if I do the dress in white, then after it's cured I can use a gold chrome marker to go over those little embellishments to make the dress a bit more of a, you know, an eye capture. So it wasn't too bad, and the dress wraps around a little bit as well around by the feet. I gotta be fair, at first glance I thought that there was a moon. That's supernova, by the way. There was a moon, a dragon, and like an angel type being, but it's not. It's the entire thing is a dragon. I mean, which is fine, which is cool. So I decided with this dragon to use the Tiny Turner pigment powders. The first colour I'm going for is Supernova, and that is on the like sticky out bits and the I don't know what to call the dragon parts. I love dragons, but I am not very good at knowing the name. I know they have wings and horns and stuff. Like the chest shield. I don't know, but that's where those colours are going. And again, you know, you sit back and look. This one's Arcane. This is my all-time favourite Tiny Turner pigment powder. It is just all the beautiful. It really, really is. So I'm using this colour for the main body of the dragon. And as I said, you know, the same with the angel. When you start burnishing in parts of the dragon, you start noticing other parts of the dragon that probably belongs to. So it is a constant. That's why I keep stopping and looking. Yes, the dragon has a tail as well, and I don't know why. I don't even notice at this point that the tail comes right down to the bottom with a, you know, with the spear type thing on there. But yeah, this is Arcane is my absolute favourite of the Tiny Turner pigment powders. The Tiny Turner, in case you are curious, you can get them from Toonfish Crafts. I have got them in the description box below. Wendy at Toonfish Crafts you know, sends them out, and yes, they are a little bit expensive, but the powders go a very long way, and genuinely I have not come across a pigment yet that compares to them. They are absolutely beautiful, and they clean up really well as well. I do find, and this is nothing against Let's Resin, because obviously the Let's Resin ones I use as well, but they clean up better than the Let's Resin powders. But I still love Let's Resin powders. But I'm just saying that's just another point that I think is important. And they do ship globally, but of course that does entail a postage cost, but well worth it if you are, you know, really into your colours and stuff like that. At least try once maybe, but you can buy them singly on their own, and you can buy them as part of sets. So this is Supernova, and I'm going to be using Supernova for the wings. As with all chameleons slash pigment powders, ethereals. In general, the best colour you can use with your resin is adding black pigment, and that's where you're gonna get your absolute best out of it. But good quality ones will work with other colours. I've used white in the past with these powders, and it just gives a more, you know, subdued colouring. I'm not going to be using white or black today, because this really lovely piece, to be honest with you, is like set on a, you know, it's set, like, you know, it's in the square. I don't know how to describe it, but it is set into that square plaque type thing. So I'm gonna go with a nice blue mica powder for the backing. It's all fine. It's honestly, it's gonna be absolutely fine. That's why I'm making sure that I am cleaning all the excess bits of powder, and I'm doing so carefully so I don't take away any of the powders that I've burnished in. And doesn't that look pretty? Very, very nice. I love doing stuff like this. It's always nice. Gloves, and as if by magic. So I'm mixing up my resin now. I've recently been sent by Resiners this fantastic dual head mixer, and I'm really enjoying using it. I love the fact that it is sturdy, it is heavy, and they don't go anywhere, the cups. And adding the mica powder whilst it's mixing, because the spatulas or paddles are silicone, so they're a lot easier to clean. I've split the cups because I've put in, I wasn't sure how much resin that this piece was going to take, but they're often quite deceptive, and I assumed it was going to take near around 8 fluid ounces of resin, but because I didn't want the resin to potentially flash cure, I separated the cups. I'm using Apex resin, and I have a discount code for those, just as I do for the mixer as well, by the way. So those are listed in the description box below, and I'm also an affiliate for both Resiners and for Apex resin. So those links are in the description box below. Make use of them. You know, get your, I believe it's 15% off for Resiners, and I'm not sure, it might be 20% off or 15% off for Apex resin. It's one or the other, but you'll see in the description box. So please take advantage of those, because it really is a good saving. It really is. I find that if I use a discount code, it generally takes off any postage, basically. So I'm doing a combination that once I had covered the angel, and the dragon with the resin, I felt happy to spray it with isopropyl alcohol. I didn't spray it beforehand because the isopropyl alcohol can take away some of your very hard work of burnishing in. And as you can see here, I'm also using my heat gun. That's just to encourage any bubbles. I didn't want to use my silicone tool too much poking into the actual characters, because I didn't want to potentially scrape off any of the powders. But I have made sure to go round the edges just to encourage any bubbles up, and as you can see, I'm also lightly tapping it around the edges as I go. So I'll leave that now to cure, and I am using my heat mat. So I've also had a little bit of resin left over, and I'm gonna do one of those lovely cats that I've done in previous videos. I've not done this cat for a while, since I tried out doing Eco, which is also from Apex. So I thought, yeah, let's do a little blue cat. So this is the same day. Only needed about an hour and a half to 2 hours on the heat mat, and it also had the tent over it, so that's nice and handy, especially when you have lots of projects you want to be getting on with. For some reason, I don't usually struggle with this mold, but for some reason today I was. But I think I was being wary of potential. I've never pulled the cat's head off or anything of the sort, so I don't know why I get so worried. But isn't he lovely? Such a lovely looking cat. Lovely little bits of detail in him. He's really pretty. So on to the main one. And it's just a case of, you know, breaking the seal around the sides to be able to demold this. And out it pops, and it came out lovely and clean. Ta-da! Now, my choice to do blue was a choice I made afterwards. After I was debating on what to do with it when I was burnishing in. And I realised that the blue would probably affect the skin of the angel for sure. So I knew at this point I would be needing to paint in some details, and I've missed a few bits as well. So I've pulled out Barbarian Flesh by Army Painter, being lazy because I didn't really want to have to mix up any colours. I did attempt to, I squeezed out some paint from the Posca pens, but I didn't like the colour. I don't have like a true skin colour pen or anything of the sort, and when I mixed it on my piece of card I just didn't like it. So going for the Army Painter by Barbarian Skin I was quite happy with. And obviously because I've not made this mould up before, I didn't know where some of the parts were, so when it came out I could clearly see that I'd missed quite a few pieces where her legs were concerned, and I didn't quite see that she has a bit of material draping over part of her arm from her dress, and underneath the dragon's wing. I've not noticed it yet, but I do shortly. Just underneath, you know, in line with her leg, just underneath the dragon's wing, there's actually a foot. But I do clock onto that soon enough. So yeah, a little bit of work to do this, but I was gonna end up making the work for myself anyway by choosing to do the backing of the blue. I could have backed the angel. I'm going to call her an angel. The wings say angel to me. Could be fairy folk, I guess. Yeah, could be. But she, you know, whatever. Anyway, I could have done it in 2 pours. So I could have just filled up the characters in using white pigment, letting that cure, and then I could have poured on the blue for the background. But I didn't think of that at the time. I don't know why. I was just in the moment. I was just enjoying what I was doing. But that is definitely the option I would probably take next time. Or I say probably, there will be a next time, because I really quite like this mould, so I really want to have another go at it, especially now that I know more parts of it. I was quite right with the majority of the hair on the angel as well. but I can sort that out, and I'm going to change the colour up anyway. She's also looking to be wearing like a headpiece, so I've just pulled out one of the silver metallic markers from J Diction. There we go, I just remembered, from J Diction. And I'm also adding a little bit of colour in there onto the dress just to highlight it a bit more, because I used the blue as a backing. It kind of lost its lost itself a little bit, but doing it like that, it basically gives it highlights in a way, you know, so it's not a terrible thing to happen either. I'm going for the orangey type gold for her hair, which I can completely see now, which is good. So I'm kind of glad that I decided just to keep the gold for the top of the wings and then sort out the hair afterwards, because again it's acting, you know, like a few different highlights anyway. I think I managed to cut out a part where I used the gold chrome marker on parts of the dress, so I must have accidentally cut that part out, so apologies for that, but you can see, you can get the meaning. And I could spend ages with this video. It was over an hour long, so you know. So I've just added a little bit of like a cream coloured Posca. I just, you know, squeezed it onto the mat and mixed it in with the barbarian flesh, just to give the skin a highlight. I'm not worried about the details in the face of the fairy, because in my mind her eyes closed. They may not be, but in my imagination that they are, and you can't see that amount of detail, not really. So I think it's such small detail, I don't think it really matters, not really that much. And you know, you can really mess up a piece if you're not so confident, especially with eyes, so it's best to leave that to the imagination. So I've just got my gold chrome marker from J Diction, and I've just added a few highlights to the wings and on her dress, a few little embellishments. And now I'm on to the silver, and I'm just adding a little point of interest onto the dragon, on particularly his spikes and also his wings. But I really am quite happy with what the blue pigment has done to this piece. Yes, I had to I had to go over the skin, but I probably would have had to regardless whether I backed it in white or black. I really do think that. I noticed a part there where I managed to miss of the wing, so we'll sort that out in a minute, but I decided to go for the lovely blue on the dragon's eye, and I've got a little silver there that I've just tapped in to give the dragon a little reflection on its eye, and just going over again. Now the skin colour as well, it took 2 coats, so there you go. And what I'm doing there, I've got pink chroma. I haven't got a colour that matches with the colour already on the dragon, so I've used the it's like a purpley pink chrome marker, dotted it in and then wiped it away, and that seems to have worked, and I'm really pleased with it. I think it's really, really pretty. What do you think? Now there's the pussycat. Isn't he lovely? Look at his face. Yeah, and he's got lovely detail on him, so you know, you can choose whether to do that. So as for this piece, I thought, it's missing something, and then I was like, oh, I know, I'll get the silver chrome marker and just go around the edging. I was debating whether to put this piece into a frame, but when I looked at my my frame stock, because I get them from charity shops, I didn't have anything that would fit the size really well. And you know, you can always put a D shape, a D size attachment on the back of these anyway, so you can just hang them up, or you can attach chain or anything like that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'm really pleased with it. I think it's really pretty, and you know, it's my kind of thing. I love it. Thank you for watching. Love you, and stay weird.
Full of colors and swirls, Nerd Goblin art draws a magic world, with foxes that prance and badgers that dance, a whirlwind of dreams with a single glance. Gerald the alligator grins so wide, in enchanted waters he loves to hide. Dragons breathe wonder with flames so bright, each creature born from a magic night. Nerd Goblin paints life in every bright